CTV family. Catch us live on your TV.
Channel 263 on your DSTV. It's where it's most hip and happening. You're still watching EKSE live right here on Cape Town TV. It is the biggest, the baddest, and the most hip and happening youth show in the motherland. Seated next to me is not just a wonky. He's Kailicha's finest, and I am Lameli Moon. Thank you for choosing us as your source of entertainment. He failed dismally to EKSE Game of Games.
Oh, yeah. I need another game. Even though I feel they conspired against me.
Never that.
I didn't imagine.
But much later on, Masixole Makwetu as well as Gugulethu and Komani are going to be taking the stage to see who's going to come out tops. I hope that they do better than you do.
I hope so too. Yeah, I was caught off guard even though I was already losing because they actually planned before the show.
Now this reads like a Bible. Masixole was born in Gugulethu. He moved to Queenstown. He was introduced to Opera Music in 2005. He went on to do bigger things. Gogu usebenza CTO, and he affords young people the opportunity to take part in opera music. He's going to tell us to develop the young ones when they flourish in the future. And I think if you start very young, in the future you're going to be exceptional.
Definitely.
And he was nominated for top 200 male in guidance, young South African. So we're sitting with somebody huge, something big. He likes to introduce himself and describe himself as Mr. Handsome, beautiful, gorgeous. We don't know if that's true. Take a look at him. Maybe you're gonna agree or disagree. Follow us on Twitter at EKSE_live. On Facebook, it's EKSE Live. Instagram is EKSE Live. Let us know what you think about this gentleman. Welcome to the show and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Okay,
Yes.
I'm blushing. You shouldn't have called me handsome before you asked me to speak.
Yeah, I wanted your humble self to show the viewers that you are truly humble.
Yeah, I'm
Congratulations, you were recognized as Abantu Bagwi 200 Women Guardian. How does that feel? Where were you? Do you remember and how did that make you feel?
When I got the news, I was just discharged from hospital. So I was on sick leave, and a colleague of mine said, "Congratulations!" I was like, "On what?" And then she was like, "You've made it!" And then she sent me the link, and it's been unbelievable to think that out of so many people in South Africa that make a difference in young people's lives, I was chosen as one of the top ones of the 200 ones by Mail and Guardian. So
tell us, how did that come about?
So you get nominated. People look at your work and they nominate you and say, "We think Masixole Makwetu is doing a good job in his community." And then it's followed by a process where you send your bio, they ask you questions about yourself, and then there's a whole panel that sits around and discusses and decides on who gets to win or to be part of the 200 winners.
Why is it important to you? Why is youth development important to you?
If we talk about singing and performing in the arts, it's quite important. Let's talk about the voice. We'll just talk about the voice just for a second. It's an instrument, and it's usually better to train it while it's still young. So by the time it gets to the voice you're listening to right in the background, it's ready to explore the world. Also, there's discipline in the art form that I work in. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you to be on time. It teaches you to take care of all those around you, because not only is it singing, but it's acting and depending on one another on stage.
Masixole, this is not Ngoma piano, it's opera. How do you make it attractive to young people? How challenging is that? And how, that's my question really.
It's not challenging anymore. So one of the things that we do as Cape Town Opera is that we go out to schools in the township, and it's not gone. How do you make it attractive? So we would take an opera by a well-known composer and make it relevant to the now. For example, instead of singing it in Italian, as you hear it now, it will be sung in Xhosa. And we'll find a focal point in the opera that is more relevant to the youth now, so that when they see it, this is something that they can hold on to, instead of talking about everything else in the opera. So what we'll do, we'll have an abbreviated version which focuses on a certain element of the opera which speaks to the youth. and also sang in Xhosa, a language that they know, or in English, or in Afrikaans.
What attracted you to this genre?
You
Is it
know-
because you can't dance?
No. Funny enough, when I joined the choir, I was forced to join the choir in high school. And I won't say it was love at first sight because I was cut off, I was chased out the first day because I couldn't hold a note. And because I'm passionate about always being,
Okay.
So I said to myself, there's no way I cannot have failed singing. So I went back. And Mrs. Mfundisi, who was my conductor at the time, promised me and said, I'll make you a great musician. And many years later, look at me,
Look
sitting
at you
here
now.
with you.
It's interesting that you actually are able to say it's not a challenge anymore to attract young kids. Guys, I know where I grew up, we weren't exposed to this type of music. Even if you did hear it, you consider it boring. So I like the fact that you guys are able to expose abantu. Maybe now, if I come to college, I would have liked the music, even though I don't now. But I want to find out, in your line of work, what does a coordinator do?
So on a normal day, I spend the whole day making sure that there's music workshops. This is me getting a director for the show, getting a music director, getting a choreographer. So when you put on a production, let's say an opera production called Awonke's production. So we'll first cast Awonke, who is the main singer in the opera,
I receive.
and then we get the director who's going to direct the show. A music director is quite important because it's a music company. Music is quite important. It's a focal point of the whole thing. And we'll get a choreographer, depending what director wants during the show. There's the set designer. There's lots of things that go in there. So my job is to make sure that that team comes together.
If you stalk him, go Instagram and Facebook, he's not shy to brag, man. Dandiye UK, Glastonbury Festival and stuff like that. Umsebenzi wakho umnandi because it affords you to travel the world. Balula, some of your highlights, ungakhetha eziphi in your career?
I think my highlight was standing on a stage where your Beyonce stood and Miley Cyrus stood.
Wow.
And this is in Glastonbury last year in 2019. And it's the pyramid stage. And if people Google it, it's one of the biggest festivals in the world. I literally stood there and I sang Masixole Africa in Glastonbury, and it felt good to represent the country, my church, my mom, and everyone in South Africa. So that's probably my highlight.
Wow. So someone that's watching at home right now and they're interested and they like the genre itself and they want to do what you do, where do you start? Do you go to school for this? How do you get to where you are now?
Yes, you go to school for it, but I didn't study music. I studied journalism. And for some strange reason, the passion just didn't die. So when I started, at the opera, I started as a marketing assistant.
Okay.
But I've always been passionate about music and the youth. So there's something called EPWP, expanded.
Programs, workers, doing.
Correct. And that's how I started. I started as an intern, and today I'm the coordinator. So there's an opportunity to learn and also to be upskilled in the art form. And then also you do go to school to be a director.
Yes.
You do your drama.
Okay.
You do your music at UCT, at Forte. There's quite a number of universities around the country that offer opera as a subject.
What's more to come from your side?
At the moment, I'm working on nationally, we do South African schools choralized third workshops. And because of COVID-19 that we've just gone through, we then had to cut the whole traveling around the country. So now I'm working online, doing videos for young people, and just it's basically a workshop online. So that's basically what's happening at the moment.
Yes, we are not done with him. After the quick ad break that we're going to take right now, Ulwandile is going to be sitting down with Mr. South Africa 2020 finalist Gugulethu. And after that, EKSE Game of Games makes a return. You do not want to miss anything. Keep it locked right here on the biggest hit show in the motherland. You're watching EKSE Live.
Street TV family. Catch us live on your TV screens.